have taken early retirement and are very comfortable. So it sort of totally depends which sort of age bracket, I guess. But I think sometimes some individuals will try and punch above their weight.
Yeah.
In terms of what it is that they're looking for, because they have to, without sounding judgmental, the partner's got to reciprocate. So if you are someone who's scraping the bottom of the barrel financially,
yeah,
but you're looking for a high-flying partner, it's very unlikely to happen. Because you get to a stage in life where certainly some of my clients, they're settled. You know, they're not looking to travel the career ladder and get to the peak or whatever it is. They've done that, been that, got the t-shirt. They just want a good man, or they just want a good woman. So it's that basics, really.
Okay, that's interesting to know. Okay, so over the years, with your many years of experience in the matchmaking field in general, do you feel like the interaction between men and women have changed? And do you think there's been any catalyst, if there has been any change in interaction?
Again, that's a bit of a broad question, but I did hold a webinar talking about what black men want.
Yeah.
And I was very, very surprised. Because I'm a bit of a dinosaur, you can tell I wasn't born yesterday.
Oh, no, you're not. Come on. No, you're not.
The men who came on the call, and I've heard of this expression, Metrosexual Men.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that means, but it clearly means that it's a man of today who's willing to meet his woman halfway, and there's much more equality and diversity in the relationship. This is what I think it means. And certainly there was evidence of that for the men on the call. I would say that in terms of gender divide, there is a leaning of men to want to step out of the traditional gender-based role where they're doing all the driving, all the running, all the paying for drinks and meals and da-di-da. And there is, I would say, some sort of backlash as well from women who don't subscribe to that. That's all very new, but that's what they are saying, that we are tired of stepping into that role where the expectations are that we will, because there are obviously repercussions. If a man pays for an expensive meal, invariably they will want something for that, and if the woman's not willing to give up on those things, that you tend to find that there is a disagreement. But no, the general trend is that there seems to be, they're expecting more equality in the relationship. My concern is if the rules aren't made clear from the outset, for men who do want to have a typical sort of traditional gender-based relationship, it's very emasculating. And for men who are quite used to providing, because that's essentially what they're built and designed to do, they're built to provide for their partners. And if their partner's now saying, we don't want that, and if the men are saying, I want a slice of your cake, it's like we're sort of mixing up the roles, and the signals are quite confusing from the dating point of view. And from the advice, it's like, well, I would always go for a meal or an evening out with the understanding that if push came to shove, I could pay for myself. Because I've heard of a lot of scenarios where the partner has turned up and there's nothing on the card, or there isn't enough on the card for two. I mean, this is modern day stuff. I mean, that would never happen once upon a time. But I think either sex, if you're going for a meal, make sure you've got enough to pay for yourself.
Yes, you heard it from Ms Zora Johnson there, because you don't want to turn up, think the man is going to pay for me because he asked me out on a date, and be embarrassed at the end, and you guys are stuck washing dishes or something, you know. We don't want that to happen, do we? We don't. So talking on equality, do you feel like, so you think men definitely are going for the more egalitarian route when it comes to gender roles? Because through a bit of research that I've done, I've seen a lot of things where it says British men are more traditional, and I know probably that's British, white British men, and also European men, they go for this kind of equality, you know, egalitarian, you know, let's do things together stance. Do you think that's the same when it comes to black men as well?
I think men are men, to be honest, and it's the new world that we're living in. And
definitely.
Sadly, even as black people, we're drawn into this way of behaving that I don't necessarily think works for us on a traditional point, from a traditional heritage point of view. And even though we are black people living here, ancestrally, we are picking up all the nuances and the behaviours of the society that we live in. And I don't necessarily think that it's true to ourselves as a people. And what we need to do is to make our own rules and to follow them through if it suits us as a people, not those people out there. So they're not going to be wagging our tail, and we're the ones that should come forward. But having said all that, there is a discussion to be had, and I think at the beginning of any sort of dating or exercise between two men and between a man and a woman, there should be clarity on whether or not they are looking for a friendship, a relationship, or a long-term marriage. And I always ask that. Now, strangely enough, the men say to me, "What's the difference? What's the difference between a friendship and a relationship?" And I think, well, if you don't know that, that's a worry. Because if you cannot understand when a woman doesn't want to have a relationship with you, but she's happy to go for a meal or go to the movies or whatever, hang out with you, but with no emotional investment, but you're looking for it, you need to have that clarity. But lots of people avoid that question until way down the line, when one partner might only be giving one part of a relationship and the other one is expecting something else. So those sort of difficult questions should be had in the first date or whilst they're exploring, getting to know each other, so that they know how the relationship will move forward. So if the man is saying, "I don't want anything but friendship," I would suggest the woman brings along her own money, because that is all he's looking for. If he's looking for a relationship, it's likely that he will pay, because he's emotionally investing himself into the act of the date.
Absolutely. And in your experience, how long have you seen it roughly take for two people to create a genuine connection with each other, or does it vary?
I would say it varies. It varies. Our service is relatively new. We're only in our 7th month. From what I have experienced with my members, everything's always a bit of hit and miss, but having said that, by the time I get around to doing the introductions, having done all the 2-hour workup, normally it's a 95% success rate.
Oh, that's amazing. And just on to the final question/statement. Only because, you know, I felt it was really important to do some research, and I found that about 21% of black couples are married within the UK, and obviously that's a very small number considering, you know, there's only 3%. The country only makes up 3% of black people in general, and 24% are single parents. So what do you think has gone wrong, or what do you think is the issue there?
So just remind me, the first statistic was
about 21% of black couples are married within the UK, and about 24% of black single parents within the UK. So what do you think has gone wrong when it comes to that?
Well, again, it's a generational thing, isn't it? I think traditionally, again, we are working within the sort of parameters of Western ideals. marriage and having babies and things is quite important for a lot of people. But don't forget, I mean, the purpose of marriage usually is to develop a loving relationship around a structural framework.
Yeah.
Now, quite often that works, especially when the children are little.
Yeah.
But when they then leave home, and then you are two individuals who are getting to know each other again after rushing around after the children for so many years, you then become you've grown into two separate persons. You almost have to get to know each other again, because you're thrown into